How to train your mind to obey you or it will destroy you. Your mind is the greatest servant you will ever have. But left untrained, it is also the most dangerous master you could ever face. It will either build empires at your command or it will shackle you in chains of fear, doubt, and mediocrity. It will either obey you or it will destroy you. Look at history, and you will see this truth written in the lives of every great man and woman, whoever rose from obscurity to greatness. Henry Ford was not born into privilege, yet he bent the power of his imagination until an assembly line appeared in the world. Thomas Edison was not blessed with extraordinary intelligence, but he disciplined his mind to persist where others quit, failing 10,000 times until he captured light itself. Andrew Carnegie arrived in America with nothing, a poor immigrant boy. Yet he harnessed his thoughts until they became steel towers rising into the sky. These men did not stumble into success. They trained their minds to obey. They forged a mental discipline, so strong that the world itself bent beneath their vision. And yet look on the other side. Look at the millions who drift through life, slaves to their own ungoverned thoughts. They dream faintly but doubt loudly. They start projects but quit at the first obstacle. They desire wealth, yet entertain thoughts of poverty. Every morning when they wake, and every night before they sleep, their minds are not servants, they are tyrants. And these tyrants crush their spirit long before the world ever has a chance to understand this. Your life will not be shaped by chance, by luck, by politicians, or by the economy. It will be shaped by the ruler that governs your inner kingdom, your mind. If you train it, if you master it, if you command it with authority, it will obey you and deliver everything you demand of it. But if you leave it untamed, it will sabotage you, enslave you, and destroy your potential before you ever taste it. The battlefield is not out there. The battlefield is in here. And every day you're either the conqueror of your mind or its prisoner. Close your eyes and imagine a wild horse. Its power is immense. It can carry you across mountains. It can pull enormous weight. It can charge into battle with unstoppable force. But left untrained, it will throw you off, drag you into ditches and run headlong into destruction. The mind is the same. Raw power, infinite potential, but chaos without discipline. The great men and women of history were not born with better minds. They simply learned to hold the reins. Now, how do you hold the reins? How do you bend this invisible power until it serves you faithfully every hour of every day? It begins with belief. Belief is the foundation upon which every empire is built. You must know that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief is not a faint wish. It is not a half-hearted hope. Belief is the iron command that says, "This shall be done," and accepts nothing less. When Ford announced he would build a motor-seat car for the multitudes, experts laughed. They said it was impossible. He replied, "Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are right." And he was right because belief shapes the mind, and the mind shapes reality. But belief alone is not enough. Belief is the spark, but discipline is the fire. The mind must be trained like a soldier. It must be commanded daily. If you allow it to wander, it will drift toward fear. If you allow it to sleep, it will sink into laziness. If you allow it to consume every distraction and temptation, it will grow fat and weak. But if you direct it, if you feed it thoughts of power, if you starve it of fear, if you drill it in persistence, it will grow sharper than any weapon forged by man. Discipline begins with your thoughts. Every thought is a seed. Plant fear, reap limitation. Plant doubt, reap failure. Plant anger, reap destruction. But plant vision, and you will reap opportunity. Plant gratitude, and you will reap abundance. Plant faith, and you will reap miracles. The soil of your mind does not care what you plant. It will grow weeds as faithfully as it grows wheat. You must be the farmer, vigilant, ruthless, intentional. This is where most men lose the battle. They allow every whisper of negativity, every headline of fear, every opinion of the doubters to enter their minds and take root. And once those seeds sprout, they wonder why their life feels heavy, why success eludes them, why they cannot rise above mediocrity. It is because their mind is not obeying them. It is obeying the weeds they allowed to grow. The training of the mind begins with command. Stand tall in the silence of your own thoughts and declare, "I am the master of my mind. It will serve me. It will obey me. It will not destroy me." Speak it aloud. Write it down. Etch it into your very being until your subconscious trembles beneath your authority. This is no empty affirmation. It is a contract, a vow. You are declaring war against the tyrant within. And war requires strategy. The first strategy is clarity. No general marches to battle without a plan. No builder constructs without a blueprint. And yet most men drift through life without ever commanding their mind to focus on a definite purpose. They wake, they work, they eat, they sleep, but they never declare, "This is my aim. This is my destiny. This is what I demand of life." Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate who became one of the richest men who ever lived, once said, and here is the prime condition of success: concentrate your energy, thought, and capital exclusively upon the business in which you are engaged. Having begun on one line, resolve to fight it out on that line, to lead in it, adopt every improvement, have the best machinery, and know the most about it. That is clarity. That is the power of a mind obeying its master. Clarity does not whisper, it commands. Clarity does not wander, it directs. Clarity does not doubt, it knows. If you would train your mind, you must give it a clear purpose, a definite aim, a vision so sharp it cuts through every distraction. Without clarity, the mind grows restless, anxious, divided. With clarity, the mind becomes a spear, piercing through obstacles, unstoppable in its momentum. And yet clarity alone will not carry you. Vision must be paired with action. For a mind that dreams but does not act is like a sword that never leaves its sheath, beautiful but useless. The disciplined mind does not wait for perfect conditions, for guarantees, for the permission of others. It acts, it moves, it advances. Action trains the mind to follow command. Every time you act on your vision, you hammer obedience into the iron of your thoughts. Do you see the pattern? Belief, discipline, clarity, action. Each one forging the mind into a weapon of creation. And yet there is one more element without which all else collapses. Resilience, because your mind will be tested. Life will strike you. Plans will fail. Friends will doubt you. Opportunities will vanish. And in those moments, the untrained mind crumbles. But the trained mind rises. The trained mind says, "This setback is fuel. This defeat is only temporary. I will persist until I win." Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the voice of a trained mind. A weak man would have quit after 10 attempts. A dreamer without discipline would have given up after 100. But a mind trained in resilience will persist 10,000 times if necessary. And that persistence bends the universe itself to its will. Resilience is not the absence of struggle. It is the mastery of struggle. It is the refusal to let temporary defeat become permanent failure. When Abraham Lincoln lost election after election, when his businesses collapsed, when his heart was crushed by personal tragedy, lesser men would have surrendered to despair. But Lincoln's mind was trained to endure. He obeyed a vision greater than his pain. And because he did, a divided nation found unity through his resolve. Your mind will try to convince you that setbacks mean you are unworthy. It will whisper, "Quit now. It is not meant for you." But understand this, those whispers are the voice of weakness, not the voice of destiny. The mind that obeys you will learn to silence them. It will say instead, "This is the cost of greatness. This is the fire that purifies. This is the test of my resolve." And with that perspective, every obstacle becomes fuel. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every scar becomes a medal of honor on the battlefield of life. Do not run from struggle. Embrace it. Do not flee from adversity. Thank it, for it is the hammer that forges the steel of your character. Wealth, success, greatness, they do not come to the fragile. They come to those whose minds can take the blows of life and still command forward. But resilience is not only persistence. It is also adaptability. The mind that is too rigid will break. The mind that refuses to adjust will be swept away by change. Look at Charles Darwin. Not a warrior, not a king, not a tycoon, but a man who revealed one of the greatest truths of existence. It is not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but most adaptable. The mind you train must be disciplined, yes, but also flexible. It must bend without breaking. It must adjust its sails when the winds change. It must pivot when one path is blocked without abandoning the destination. Thomas Edison did not stop inventing when the photograph was perfected. He moved on. He adapted. He pursued electricity. Walt Disney was told by bankers that his vision of Disneyland was foolish, that no one would come. But he adapted. He persisted. And today, millions enter a world built by a man whose imagination obeyed him, not his critics. Adaptability is not weakness. It is strength disguised as humility. It is the ability to say, "The plan has failed, but the purpose remains. I will find another way." The trained mind knows there are infinite ways to reach one destination, but only if it refuses to cling to the one that no longer works. And here is where the true secret of wealth is revealed. Wealth is not first a number in a bank account, but a state of consciousness. A man may be given riches, but if his mind is still tuned to poverty, those riches will evaporate like smoke. Another man may begin with nothing, but if his mind is tuned to abundance, opportunities will seek him, doors will open, and fortune will eventually kneel at his feet. Wealth consciousness is the ability to command your mind, to see prosperity where others see scarcity. It is the trained awareness that the world is filled with limitless opportunities, resources, and possibilities. Wallace Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich declared that you must think in the certain way, that prosperity is not luck but a mental law. Those who think in lack attract lack. Those who think in riches attract riches. Your mind, like a magnet, will draw to you the conditions that harmonize with its dominant vibration. If you allow fear, doubt, and worry to rule your thoughts, you will find circumstances that match those fears. But if you train your mind to dwell on abundance, faith, and certainty, life will echo those thoughts back to you in the form of opportunities. Wealth and success. This is not mysticism, it is law. James Allen wrote, "You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you." And yet most people live as if they are victims of circumstance, forgetting they are creators of circumstance. They allow the mind to drift toward fear, and then they wonder why fear multiplies in their life. They dwell on debt, and then more debt comes. They obsess over failure, and then failure knocks again. They do not see that their mind is obeying them. It is simply obeying the wrong commands. You must command differently. You must train your thoughts to obey wealth, not poverty. Train your vision to see opportunity, not limitation. Train your inner voice to declare faith, not fear. This is not denial of reality. It is the creation of a higher reality. Consider Nikola Tesla, a man whose visions were so vivid that he could design entire inventions in his mind before ever building them. His wealth was not measured in gold, but in ideas. Ideas that changed the world. He once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." And he was right. Wealth consciousness is nothing more than tuning your mental frequency to abundance. Poverty is a vibration. Prosperity is a vibration. Which station is your mind tuned to? Gratitude is the dial that tunes the frequency. Gratitude is the discipline of wealth. To train your mind in gratitude is to train it to see riches where others see nothing. When John D. Rockefeller was a poor bookkeeper earning just a few dollars a week, he practiced gratitude for every coin he saved. That mindset turned him into one of the richest men the world has ever known. Gratitude multiplies what it touches. It transforms scarcity into abundance, because it commands the mind to focus on what is present, not what is absent. If you wake each day in complaint, your mind will obey complaint. If you wake each day in gratitude, your mind will obey gratitude. And what the mind obeys, life reflects. Gratitude does not make you naive. Gratitude makes you powerful. It tells the mind, "I already have wealth." And in doing so, it attracts more of it. And with gratitude comes the final and highest discipline of the mind, purpose. For what use is wealth without meaning? What use is success without service? The trained mind is not enslaved by greed. It knows that fortune is not an end, but a tool. A tool to create, to uplift, to expand. Carnegie gave away nearly his entire fortune to build libraries and universities. He said that a man who dies rich dies disgraced. Purpose transforms wealth from mere possession into legacy. Your mind must be trained to see beyond itself. A selfish mind collapses into its own desires. A purposeful mind expands into eternity. Purpose commands the mind to endure suffering, to resist temptation, to overcome fear. For when you know why you are living, no obstacle can stop you from how you will live. So ask yourself, what is my definite purpose? What demand will I command my mind to obey every day of my life? Without that answer, you drift. With it, you conquer. The time has come to stop treating your mind like a careless wanderer. It is a king's army, yours to command. Train it to obey. Belief, discipline, clarity, action, resilience, adaptability, wealth, consciousness, gratitude, and purpose. And it will march with you into a destiny few men ever touch. Leave it untamed and it will devour you from within. The choice is before you now. Master or slave, creator or victim, conqueror or conquered, your mind is waiting. It will obey. The only question left is whose command will it follow? Stand still for a moment and listen. Listen to the silence within you. There is a voice there, faint but undeniable. It is the voice of destiny calling you to rise, calling you to take command of the kingdom that lies between your ears. That voice has been drowned out for years by doubt, fear, distractions, and noise. But it has never left you. It waits. It waits for the moment you stand up as the sovereign of your own mind and declare, "No longer will I be ruled. From this day forward I will rule." For centuries, the secret has been whispered through the ages by sages, prophets, and leaders. As a man thinketh, so is he. These 6 words contain the law of life itself. You are not a victim of your past. You are not a prisoner of your circumstances. You are not defined by the opinions of others. You are exactly what you have allowed your mind to think you are. And if you do not change those thoughts, nothing will ever change. But here is the power. If you seize control of the mind, you seize control of destiny. If you command the mind, you command your future. And when the mind learns to obey, the world obeys with it. Look at Winston Churchill, who stood before a nation on the brink of destruction. Bombs fell, fear spread, defeat seemed inevitable. Yet his mind did not bend. He trained his thoughts to declare, "We shall never surrender." That command echoed into the hearts of millions, and a nation that could have fallen stood unshaken. That is the power of a trained mind. It does not just shape one life. It shapes the course of history. Look at Helen Keller, blind and deaf from infancy. The untrained mind would have accepted a life of silence and darkness. But with guidance and discipline, her mind became a flame that pierced through every limitation. She learned to read, to write, to speak, to inspire. She became a symbol of victory over circumstances that would have destroyed another. That is the power of training the mind until it obeys. Do you see the pattern? The giants of history were not gifted superhumans. They were men and women who forged their minds until the world had no choice but to yield to their vision. You carry within you the same potential, the same fire, the same command. The difference is not in what you were given. It is in what you demand of yourself. And now you must demand. Demand that your mind obey you. Demand that it rise when it wants to sink. Demand that it create when it wants to consume. Demand that it persist when it wants to quit. Demand that it focus when it wants to wander. Demand that it choose faith when it wants to fear. This is not optional. This is survival. Because the mind left untrained will not simply make you weak. It will destroy you. It will whisper failure until you believe it. It will replay past wounds until you relive them. It will magnify fear until you are paralyzed. It will poison the soil of your soul until every dream you plant withers and dies. But the mind you train will become your greatest ally. It will rise before you rise. It will guard you against doubt. It will sharpen your vision when the world blurs. It will strengthen your will when the body falters. It will feed you faith in the dark nights of despair. It will multiply every effort you make, every seed you plant, every vision you pursue, and it will carry you step by step into the life you were born to live. Do not mistake this as a gentle calling. This is war, and the war is fought within. Every day you rise, the enemy rises with you. Fear, doubt, distraction, laziness, procrastination, despair. These are not abstract ideas. They are assassins. And if you do not fight them, they will cut you down from the inside. The only weapon strong enough to defeat them is a trained mind. So let the battle begin now. Take command. Guard your thoughts as a general guards his fortress. Choose your vision as a king chooses his heir. Discipline your actions as a master disciplines his craft. Feed your mind truth, courage, faith, and determination until it becomes unshakable. Starve it of fear, of envy, of weakness, until those weeds can no longer grow. And then march. March with clarity. March with discipline. March with gratitude. March with purpose. For the world does not yield to the weak-minded. It yields only to those whose minds burn with such certainty that reality bends to meet their will. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for conditions to be perfect. The mind trained to obey does not wait. It acts. It does not hesitate. It commands. It does not fear. It conquers. So I ask you now, as the echo of this voice fades into your silence, will you rise and command your mind, or will you remain its prisoner? Will you train it to obey, or will you let it destroy you? The answer is not spoken in words. It is spoken in the discipline of your next thought.